This video is quite special to me because in this video I'm gonna be talking about whiskey from Birmingham, from my local distillery, Spirit of Birmingham, the first ever whiskey from this city in England. Hello and welcome back. My name is Vlad, and in today's video I'm gonna be talking about the whiskey from my local distillery. It's quite new distillery in Birmingham, Spirit of Birmingham it's called. Something new on the market, inaugural release of Spirit of Birmingham. But before I'll start to go deeper in that, I need to tell you a couple of words about what's happened, because probably you noticed I just disappeared from the YouTube for a couple of months. No new videos, nothing happens, and I think I need to give you some update on this one, and do apologize for do not give you any updates before. So to be honest, I've been struggle with the health conditions, couple of conditions popped in the last couple of months, and to be honest I had to just quit alcohol for some time. That's why I didn't recorded any videos, any reviews in the last couple of months. But the good news is I'm back, and I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to bring you guys some new stuff from the newest distilleries as whiskey discussed today. So Spirit of Birmingham, in my opinion, as far as I know, this is the one of the smallest distillery in the world. Distillery has been established, created in a garage, so it's like 27 square meters if I remember right. So very little space, and in that little space something beautiful happens. The whiskey is created, so something unusual and fantastic. Only one distillery which has been made at the garage, sorry for my English, but still learning. 10 years in here, but still learning. So the one distillery which is very small, which could be quite similar to the Spirit of Birmingham, is Irish distillery called Killowen. So it's also created in a garage, small space. So that's only two distilleries which I know they are actually on work on the very little space. And history of the Spirit of Birmingham is just amazing, to be honest. The distillery is run by two siblings, Tony and Johnny. They started just that very bad situation come up all around the world on the beginning of the 2020, but before it's on the private property. So Tony was able to make the whiskey, even all these restrictions all around. Except the whiskey, they also made a vodka, they also made a gin, and they also made a beer, to be honest. And the beer is quite amazing. Vodka is also very good, actually. I have tried all the products from the Spirit of Birmingham, and they all quite very good quality and quite nice. I'm not a big vodka fan, but yeah, that vodka is something unusual, very well made, to be honest. So Tony knows what's he doing, and he doing very good thing. So young distillery at this moment, about 5 years old, and they decided to release the first inaugural whiskey, and that was this year in June, and that was actually 28th of June 2025. And that's how the box look like. It's like a book bookish, I would say, box for the whiskey. The bottle itself is also quite nice. It looks like a kind of a big hip flask, I would say. Square bottle, beautiful. Nice label with the bull on the label, the sign of the Birmingham. So very nicely done visual presentation. About the whiskey itself, we have a single pot still whiskey, and that idea, it's quite simple. The guys, they are actually Irish. I think the parents came from the island to the Birmingham back in the days, and so now they actually established in Birmingham. But yeah, they both Irish, and that was the idea behind that, to create the first whiskey as a single pot still whiskey. Obviously, they have some single malt whiskey also in the casks already, so we're just waiting for another beautiful whiskey coming off distillery in the short future. Whiskey itself is made from the couple of different grains. The mash bill is actually the 80% of Maris Otter barley, and the 20%, the rest of the mash bill, is unmalted barley, malted rye, malted oats, and chocolate malt, which is quite unusual in the whiskey industry. The only whiskey contains chocolate malt from Scotland is actually one of my favorite whiskey from the Glenmorangie distillery, and it's Glenmorangie Signet, lovely whiskey. And I also tried some time ago the whiskey from the United States called Westland, and that whiskey also contained chocolate malt. So I don't know many other distilleries who actually using the same process. I mean the chocolate malt, yeah, but in this case the whiskey is definitely created on that single pot still Irish style. So the mash bill, couple of different grain, fermentation is between 4 to 7 days, depends of the weather, depends of the temperature. And as I mentioned before, Spirit of Birmingham making couple of different type of spirits, definitely single malt spirit, definitely Irish style single pot still whiskey. So we're just looking forward to try some more stuff from them. If we're talking about this inaugural release, single pot still whiskey, this is a very small batch, 900 bottles only. This small batch includes 4 different casks. It's ex-Buffalo Trace casks from the, obviously from the bourbon, ex-bourbon casks, and that was 2 of them, and also 2 casks from the virgin Staffordshire oak, which is virgin English oak. Sounds very good. I know that Tony is a person who always trying to create something local. He always supporting the local businesses. He has a chef background as well, so he always use that, you know, natural, local sourced ingredients to in his kitchen. Good stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. Whiskey is obviously not age stated, but it is between 3 and 4 years old. More details about this whiskey with the very, very important information. This whiskey is non-chill filtered, no color added, which is beautiful, which is lovely. 48% of ABV. Very nice strength, I need to say. So on the paper, everything looks beautiful. Now we're gonna try and see what do we have in the glass. The first initial aroma is loads of fruitiness. It's apple, it's orange peel, some pears. What I need to mention, when I opened this bottle first time, there was quite alcoholic notes on the top, but you know, as you see, I quite like this whiskey, so that alcohol is gone now, so you cannot detect any alcohol burning your nostrils. So it's quite fruity, to be honest. Just behind that fruitiness, we've got that kind of, I would say, that rye spiciness, a kind of bready notes. There is some also kind of buttery notes as well here. So it's like a rye bread with a spread, nicely spread butter on it. And there is also quite noticeable that chocolatey aroma. Quite chocolatey, yeah, it's quite obvious here. Yeah, loads of caramel, some of vanilla. Guys, this whiskey smells very, very nice. Lovely aroma. For that young whiskey, is quite complex as well. Let's go for the palate. Initial taste, loads of sweetness, that beautiful fruitiness, loads of caramel and vanilla, kind of grassy notes, some dirty notes as well, like earthy notes, kind of dirtiness coming up, which is quite nice, to be honest. Nicely fitted here amongst all these beautiful tastes. I think that was the idea of creating this whiskey, to make it quite dirty, because that's supposed to reminds a Birmingham as a city, industrial city. Back in the days, that was like a center of industrial companies in England. We have the canals all around the city, and actually the Birmingham canals, if you will take them on the size of the length, they are a bit longer than the canals in the Vienna. So yeah, we have more canals in Birmingham. That kind of, you know, nice thing, nice story. Yeah, so there is that kind of industry funk in this whiskey, which I do love it, to be honest. Let's go for another sip. What I like in this whiskey is not too sweet. Usually the whiskey can be very, very sweet, but on the aroma, there is kind of sweetness. On the palate, that sweetness is very balanced, and is balanced with that kind of dirty thing. I would say even kind of saltiness coming up here, which is which is quite interesting. When you swallow, all that fruits going back, and that kind of graininess coming up, and actually when you swallow, all that, you know, nice thing happens, because that rye bread with the butter coming up straight away, that chocolate malt, that chocolatey notes, they become very, very strong after you swallow. So initially you've got loads of fruitiness, that kind of, you know, dirtiness, all that thing, and then when you swallow, all that kind of industrial stuff, that chocolatey stuff, that rye coming up much stronger, and the finish is very long, very intense, with that grainy chocolatey notes, caramel notes. That finish reminds me a bit, very popular in England, chocolate, Galaxy salted caramel. So there is that kind of chocolatey from that chocolate malt, even if it's not too much that grain in the mash bill, but it's very obvious and intense on the palate. So you have that chocolate malt, you've got that caramel from the virgin oak, I would say, and from ex-bourbon oak as well, and that kind of saltiness which is lingering on the palate all together. Yeah, this is quite nice whiskey. I'm a big fan of the Irish whiskies, to be honest. I've got a little collection on the back somewhere with the Irish whiskies. I've got the couple redbreasts, I've got couple blends, Irish blends, which I do like as well, because they are more approachable than the Scotch blends, in my opinion. I'm talking about that, cheap blends. Yeah, so I am a big fan of the single pot still whiskey, to be honest, and this whiskey is exactly what I expect from the single pot still whiskey. I do like all this from the start to the end. Thing is, when I opened this bottle, that whiskey was very aggressive. That was slapping my face straight away, and that because it's young, it's quite aggressive, young, bold whiskey. Give it a time in the bottle, in the glass, and that whiskey will calm down, relax, round up, and give you much more happiness than on the beginning. That's only one thing which I could complain, but that's actually normal thing. That's actually something normal. The whiskey from the start to the bottom of bottle is changing. It's like oxidization, all that things, all that processes happen. So this whiskey is definitely good now. In that point, just under the half of the bottle, I would say, it's very nice. Guys, that's all about this lovely whiskey, first ever whiskey from Birmingham, from Spirit of Birmingham, inaugural release from this new lovely distillery. I'm looking forward to try some more whiskeys from them soon. And yeah, if you want to know more about the Spirit of Birmingham distillery, I will give you the link. I will leave the link in the comment section or in the video description down below to one of the Birmingham podcasts called Breaking Bread. It's like a podcast about the cooking, but the recent one was actually made at the Spirit of Birmingham distillery. The Tony and Johnny was the guests of that podcast, so they're sharing all the more details, more information about the distillery itself. And if you're interested in to get some more information about the Spirit of Birmingham distillery, just go to that podcast, and it's on the YouTube, so you can hear it or you can watch it. I would recommend you watch it, because even better. So that's all, guys, for today. Again, I do apologize for that long break and not letting you know before what's happening, but I'm back now, and I think I'm gonna be publishing quite often now. Once a week, that's my minimum, that's my plan for the minimum. So hopefully everything will go as I do plan for the future. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Remember one important thing: take care about yourselves, about your families, drink your whiskeys, enjoy your life, and see you soon. Bye.